welcome along. Welcome to Silverrun Forest Farm. We're here with Jake and Paige, and we're at the beginning of September. It's a beautiful late summer's day. We're just emptying off the bales off this field. As you can see, Jake's already taken a load up and put them in the shed that he had constructed recently, so we're only going to need one trailer load of straw for the cows for the foreseeable future. So the rest of these are definitely for sale, but this isn't the right time of the year to be selling. Let's have a look. Yeah, you can see straw $64, pretty ordinary price, and we've got a heap of it. In fact, with all of our products, the prices aren't really terrific at the moment. Maybe the exception being butter and cheese don't look too bad, so we might later on in the day run down to the cafe from our little dairy, but for now we're just tidying up so that we can set to and get hopefully at least a couple of these fields prepped, if not seeded, before we get stuck into part 2 of the harvest. So our last, if we have a look at the map, our last few fields are all going to come with a bit of a rush. So, you know, we've got, whilst they're all smaller, we've got 2 soybeans and 3 sugar beet fields, along with the 2 corn fields. So the corn's going to be ready next time, as is probably the sugar beet. Oh, sorry, not next time, in October. So we need to be prepared to get all of that off, and our opportunity to prepare fields at the same time is going to be somewhat limited. So it's pretty important to, if we can, get the prep done here and some seed in the ground so that we can take advantage of the autumn seeding windows. So we'll have to we've got at least one, I'd say there's probably another 3 trailer loads of bales here to pick up. So we'll get those sorted and we'll just stack them on the apron by the riding school, where they can sit until a little bit later in the year when we get a chance to sell them. Yeah, so probably just this little spot here beside the roadway will do it. They're not the most stable stacks in the world. Let's see if we can get them a little bit squarer. There we go. Square-ish, I guess, is the order of the day. Looks like that grass there needs a cut at some point as well, and we'll probably end up baling that for silage bales, given they're a good little earner for us. So the other thing to check, we know we possibly need lime on these fields. I don't think we've got enough digestate in our little BGA, but we probably do have enough. So where are we at with digestate? No, we've hardly got any digestate at the minute, but we do have plenty of plenty of slurry up in the cow pen. So I think it makes some sense to spread the slurry while we have it, rather than my rationales are as simple as we could take the slurry to the BGA and turn it into digestate. The trouble is that would all take time and we would miss the window to put it on this field, I suspect. So what I think we're better off doing is just spreading the slurry straight on the field. But first and foremost, let's get these bales off. We got there 2, 4, 6, 7 on that one. Let's just stack that one reasonably close. That's the last of the bales off this field. Go fill the trailer up. Looking across to the where the new sawmill, I guess is the operative word. Been some interesting developments. I think commented on the fact of how quiet it had been since the fire, and how little seemed to be going on. Well, very little going on over there, but the big rumours that are doing the rounds at the minute are that they're not going to rebuild the sawmill. So apparently Danielle and her father are doing a great job with the old sawmill and have picked up and are working their way through all of the big contracts in the area, and the investors that Buff hooked Jake up with for that little BGA there seem to be calling the shots. They've obviously got some level of financial control over the property, so they're said to be, and Jake's relying a bit on Buff and just the scuttlebutt around town, but they're said to be uninterested in the sawmill. There's a rumour that there might be some sort of like a fund, those big banker groups that are, and therefore that they're worried about the investment consequences if they're seen to be operating a sawmill, and apparently it went over really well with them. That was kind of why they were interested in the biogas plant, because it was the sort of investment, you know, capital intensive, but seemed to give them ticks in boxes they need to attract certain types of money to their fund. And so anyway, Buff's view is that given how well that all went, they're actually looking potentially at building a much bigger facility, and that seems to have been what was behind Buff's question last time about, you know, what would he want. Obviously it doesn't seem to be much room for 2 biogas plants, and we already know that the little facility we've got, while it worked pretty well for the sugar beet, we kind of maxed out its capacity. So don't know where any of that's going to lead, but for the minute it just is worth watching, because there's certainly plenty of land there. Nothing happening at all in that. I mean, they don't even bother to shut the doors on that empty warehouse at this end, so there's nothing at all happening on the site. What do we got here? We'll probably fill this trailer up with the remainder. Meanwhile, Jake's pretty sure on a completely different track that he's got Paige over the line on the little ice cream business. So now the next trick is, without it leaving himself short to lease the harvester that'll run on that hillside, is where does he come up with the 120 grand he needs to get things happening on that front. So I have to wait, and so we're going to be left with 2 bales on here by the looks. Even worse, 1 bale. Oh no, 2 bales. There we go. So we'll grab that one. So when he's had a few moments, he has been down at the pontoon, or the little landing, sending a few more logs over to the float pond. So there's probably a few more dollars to collect there. Obviously we can't sell this hay just yet, but and we've got the silage there ready to go, so probably won't make it for the summer, but shouldn't be too far away from being able to break some ground on that project, hopefully. Straighten that up. Try and leave these in a bit of a tidy pile. Whoa. It's always a bit frightening when the whole stack moves. Go get those last couple and then that job will be done. We might as well take these. Doesn't really matter, they're going to be overflow on the trailer anyway. We might as well put them up in our shed up the top, I think. And that way we know we've got 4 full trailers, loads of bales down there to fill. Plus there's already enough straw sitting under the overhang to keep the horses happy for a considerable period. In fact, we don't even need to put these away because we can give, whoops, we can give them straight to the cows. As we know remember from last time that the cows needed some bedding. So we'll fold you up. Pop you on the mixer, which doubles as a straw chopper. There we go. Just back it up there nicely. Is there anything in it? Yes. Can we empty it? See how we go. Have they eaten enough? No, they have not. So we might not. I don't think we can pop whole bales on the trigger here. Let's just run around and find out. Get our trusty Merlo out. Let's find out whether it will or won't. Literally can't remember. Will the trigger process it? Doesn't look like it. Nope. Don't think it matters where it is. No. So we need to wait for the animals to eat a little more. But that doesn't matter. Let's disconnect off there. Now the question is, if we have a look at our fields, the aptly named Bigger Field 2, none of them, the three, need ploughing. And if we look at our pH, no, pH isn't too bad. In fact, it's pretty darn good. We could do with a little lime on this field. So I'm thinking we won't bother liming these two. We'll just lime the field by the sawmill. And which means a couple of things. First of all, if we can get some slurry now on the Bigger Field 2. Whoops, did I help? It'll work much better if we fill it up. But if we can spread some slurry down there, that'll be a good base which we can then go and seed right over the top of, and with any luck we'll get this tongue-tied today. We'll get this slurry distributed before the rain comes. It's not the end of the world if we don't get it completely covered. All we're trying to do is give it a bit of a bump up in nitrogen levels to cover. to reduce the amount of fertilizer we ultimately have to spread on it afterwards. So it'll be a little bit patchy because we don't have a fancy sensor controlling the flow. We're just literally tipping it on. That said, you can see from the little mini map it's making a pretty handy difference to the basic fertilization level. And there we go. There's another load. Based on 2 tanks there, I'm thinking we're going to need at least 8, and I don't think we quite run to 8, so we'll probably only get about half the field covered in slurry, I suspect. Back that up there. Let's fill you up again. Have a quick look how much is in the tank. And we're down, there's only 2 tank loads left. So we now know for future reference that bigger field 2 needs somewhere in excess of 100,000 litres of slurry to get anywhere near it. We could have reduced the application rate a fraction, but as I said at the outset, we're going to top it up with fertilizer anyway after the crop strikes, so it's not a big deal. Off we go. And here comes the rain. So it's not too sloppy on the field. Just don't want to be creating a whole heap of runoff into the river there, so we might pause our activities. I don't want to be spreading lime in the rain either. That strikes me as something that would be very problematic. It would just gum up on the machine something fierce. So what we might do is go and get our seeding operations sorted out, find out how much seed we've got, where it is, and potentially a run down the shop to get some more seed in the not down the shop, sorry, to the our little seed maker to fill up the tender if we need to. At least it kind of washes the muck off the tractor. That doesn't hurt. There we go. So we'll load you up so you're ready to go. And you can see just one tank of slurry left there. Let's kill you for the minute. There is plenty of manure in there as well, but we don't have a way of spreading that at this point. So, in our little auger wagon, we have nothing. Our seeds in there, 456. Oh, it's blowing a little bit in off the sea. And we've still got 1390 sitting in there, so we should be able to fill up the seeder. Let's pop you out. Move that trailer out of the way at the end, because I'm pretty confident you'll be well and truly in the way. Good opportunity to give you a rinse. Hooked on and around we go. So, what are we going to plant? Oh, well, so to speak. Well, just get you on the correct line would help. Turn you on. And fill you up, hopefully. Right, so have we got any more we can take out of there? It looks like that might be all we've got plenty of barley. Let's turn on the seed production. Plenty of barley, let's make some seed. Meanwhile, if we look at our chart, so we're in September, we can process all three. In terms of pricing, let's have a look. Canola, Max price is 1,200. Wheat 730. Barley 680. But the yields are different. I think, given the cereal factory and where we've been and the flexibility to use some of it for seed, I think we'll go with wheat this year. So wheat it is. Close the lid. Let's head on down and get our wheat going in. So given it's raining, I think it makes some sense to also head down and just see where we're at the dairy with regards to cheese and butter. So we might start our get one of the folks. They're not doing much horse riding over there today. 3 headlands, 4.5 meters. Start on the center. Sharp is good. That looks like a pretty good course to me. And so we'll start you off. Rightio. Let's duck up and get out of this rain. I think we'll be able to put any cheese and butter we've got in the back of the ute, so we'll just do it that way. Nobody coming. All good. He look like he's got underway. He does. Nice to be able to get reliable help. Makes a big difference. And that right there, that's the harvester that Jake's hoping to borrow. Can't quite see much through the side window, but that's the one we want. That big Allis would be a good pickup as well. A few more things on the agenda before we get to there. Now let's see what we can do here. There's a couple of boxes. Looks like 3 pallets of butter and let me get you up there. Hopefully we'll get all these in the back of the ute without too much trouble. Oh, just a little bit heavy. All I can say is that butter is sure heavy. There we go. We get it on the right line. It goes in. So a little bit of persistence, not too much damage, even if we just about broke the tailgate off the ute. They're the bits of the day that we don't we don't bother Paige with. This up. What are we stuck on this time? This side. One more to go. Lovely. That rain is still tipping it down. Let's whack some straps on there so that we try and reduce the amount of problem we have delivering it. And let's see where we need to go. I suspect it is in fact the cafe. That's always a nice opportunity to pick up a donut and do some ripper donuts at the Sunnyside Cafe. So we'll duck over there. Kind of missed lunch somewhere along the way, so just pop in here to the cafe, drop this lot off, and what's the opportunity? $10,913. Thank you for coming. And what we might do is just duck up. It's just not a great day for moving logs. We will duck up to the pontoon. Earlier on, he's been loading the little log trailer with offcuts as he goes, and they're all kind of done. So we can pick that up and bring that back to the firewood place. Sugar beet looking beautiful, soybeans looking resplendent. It's a nice cover there. This rain won't have done them any harm at all, so that's good. You can see that the head's waiting there for another load, so what we can do, as long as we're careful not to get our crop in the way, looks like there's one there he hasn't loaded on. Realistically, we can just connect on. What do we got here? It's found that 4 seems to be about the limit. So hoist them up. Oh. And X will return that back to the pond. But what we might do is duck round there with, it's only 60 kilos. We can hoist that in the trailer. Stick a couple of straps on. Let's just run around the pond and just see. We could probably just as easily sell these into the float pond. There's some nice bits of timber, even though they're not particularly long. So we might do that. Can't see how. We've got a few logs in the pond there. Good to go, but can't see our most recent additions just yet. Let's drop these off. Kind of like launching a boat off the boat ramp. What's that? Oh, there they are. That's why we couldn't see them. They're right here. Just pop those back in the water. And B will drop them in. Then we can send you back up to the other end. The Y key sends that up to the last position up there, and we'll go and hit the switch. And that generated 18,300. So that's a good spot. But for now, we might leave Jake here, finish off that seeding. He's only got the one seeder which can operate at the moment. Yeah, so we might go back and relieve his man who is making a good fist of it. We'll put the little log trailer in the firewood yard and catch up with you all next time. Thanks very much for watching. Stay safe. See ya.